Minister, last June the Dáil voted by a majority of 2 to 1 that a commission of investigation be set up to investigate the death of Shane Farrell. You chose instead, however, to have a scoping inquiry, and that was to be conducted by the District Court Judge, Gerard Houghton. I believe he should be reporting soon on an interim report, but my question to you is, will you allow for an independent inquiry into the death of Shane O Farrell?
Minister, 2 minutes.
As Deputy Smith will be aware, this matter has been addressed on a number of occasions in recent weeks and months by me in the Dáil, in the Shannon, in public statements and other fora. However, I welcome the opportunity to update the House on matters relating to the circumstances of the tragic death of the late Shane O Farrell.
Is that the decision of Judge Houghton supersedes the will of this House. 2/3 of this House voted to have a commission of inquiry into the death of Shane O Farrell. And you just told me that Judge Houghton will make up his own mind as to what is about to happen and will report back to you shortly on that decision. I find this totally unsatisfactory. I have no doubt that the O'Farrell family will find it totally unsatisfactory when you could have ordered an investigation, a commission of investigation into this very, very tragic case, like you did, or like this House did in June last year, a commission of investigation into the crimes of Bill Keneally, the former sports coach, no scoping exercise. June 2015, a commission of investigation into the IBRC, no scoping exercise. March 2014, a commission of investigation into the recording of phone conversations in Garda stations, no scoping exercise. Why has Shane O Farrell's death been treated so differently, despite the majority of 2/3 in this House who have clearly indicated to you, appealed to you, have been lobbying you for years now to order a commission of investigation into the very tragic and strange circumstances of this young man's death?
First response.
Well, the Deputy shouldn't misrepresent the role of Judge Houghton in this important and sensitive issue, and he is engaging directly with the O'Farrell family. Of course, it's open to Judge Houghton to propose changes to the terms of reference to me. Indeed, following his review, I expect that he will advise me on any remaining unanswered questions that should be the subject of further inquiry.
Deputy Smith.
I'm not satisfied with your answer. Unfortunately, Minister, you just repeated what you said to me the first time. My question to you is, how does the instructions to Judge Houghton override the will of this House? A majority of 2 to 1 voted that a commission of investigation be set up into the events surrounding the deaths of Shane Farrell, and you still haven't answered me as to why you chose that path, and if at the end of this path there will be a recourse or a consideration given to the will, the clear will of this House. Does Judge Houghton's independence go beyond the scope of the Dáil, and does his independence mean that he can ignore the will of the deputies as we voted for it? The events in the lead up to Shane O Farrell's death are well known. The sort of level of freedom that the culprit was given by various courts, whether it was in Monaghan, in Ardee, in Dundalk, in Uri, and the scope at which he was allowed to carry out reckless driving, probably with having drugs and drink taken, and which resulted in the death of this young man, without anybody being able to take him into custody or conducting any inquiry into it. So I just think it's a real tragedy, and the words of this Dáil should be heard.
Before the Minister responds, I'd allow a brief supplementary for Deputy O'Leary. Brief, please.
Minister, I've outlined previously there are a number of